It's good to be here in the Oxford Union, although it doesn't really look like a union. You guys don't look very proletariat. I recently found out this is not a union, but a member society. So I wore a suit, first time. I didn't even wear it to a friend's wedding, so this is a special occasion. But you do what you gotta do. I want to thank you for having us, and I won't be long. Personally, I don't think there's any room for debate in the presence of burning flesh. I don't think there is any room for side conversations while people are being literally burnt alive and incinerated. And the mere notion that we can sit here and ponder and pontificate about a real live stream genocide happening in real time is so arrogant, it's so insensitive, it's so cruel, and it's absurd. The question is, what more do we all need to see to be convinced that this is a genocidal regime waging a genocidal war? Have we not seen enough fathers carrying their children's limbs, their children's remains in shoeboxes and plastic bags? What more images of cruelty must we see to contend with the fact that not only is this a genocide committed by the Israeli regime, but that this very empire is funding it and facilitating it and coddling it? And also, if we're really going to talk about debates, our opponents, the Zionists, never ever talk about the heart of the issue. We charge them with genocide, we charge them with apartheid, and they tell us, you want to throw Jews into the sea, you want to throw gays from the Eiffel Tower, you want to kill all your women, you beat women, you're misogynistic, you're so on. They say to us, it's the only Jewish state in the world. It's a small country, can you pin it on a map? Why do you single out Israel? They tell us, if the Palestinians lay down their weapons, there would be peace, but if we lay down our weapons, we would be killed. They tell us this, they tell us all kinds of propaganda, simplistic, stupid, silly propaganda points that can be easily repeated by anybody, anywhere. But all of these talking points are not new. They haven't even invented them. They are recycled colonial talking points. We heard them from white Afrikaners. We heard them from in Rhodesia. We heard them all over the world from white supremacists when slavery was getting abolished, when Jim Crow was getting abolished. What happens to the settlers? What happens to the slave owners? What happens to the prison guards? We hear these arguments over and over again, and their arguments to us are always about hypotheticals, about what could possibly happen in the near future. It's about sentiment, about what I feel inside my heart, what I may say about my language, about the offensive things I say. It's never about the material policy-backed systemic things that the Israeli country of genocide commits. The policy-backed discrimination, subjugation, police brutality, ethnic cleansing, dispossession, land theft, decapitation of children. We have seen in the past year children hanging, their limbs hanging from ceiling fans. We have seen brothers carrying their siblings in their backpacks, walking around for miles on end. Even before October 7th, my very house was stolen and taken by Israeli settlers, backed by the Israeli judiciary that is built by settlers and for settlers on the skeletons of Palestinians and funded by tax-exempt, you can sit down, by tax-exempt, by tax-exempt, you can sit down also. You can also sit down. Yes, just sit down. Just by tax-exempt settler organizations registered in the United States of America. And they tell us all kinds of bullshit that we buy. They tell us, you use your children as human shields. They tell us you have rockets, you hide rockets and weapons underneath hospitals. And to that I say, and we all should say, that even if Hamas was using people as human shields, which they do not, even if that still does not give you the excuse to kill civilians, even if we do hide weapons under hospitals, that still does not give you the right to bomb hospitals, killing people, millions of people inside these hospitals. This is not, can you please sit down? Thanks. Just relax, take a Xanax. With Ya Rab Allah tabi'iha, just come.
As a speaker is entitled to reject information. They also have that right when you're allowed to make a speech.
There is nothing, there is absolutely nothing that the Palestinian people can do that justifies genocide. More than that, there is nothing that the Palestinian people can do that will make these people no longer want to exterminate us. Because their issue is not with how we exist, but rather their issue is that we exist at all. Their issue is with our existence. If this motion passes today, it means that this body is catching up to the moral clarity of the global majority, and it is about time and 70 years too late. And if this motion does not pass today, it just means that this is just yet another Western institution that in a decade or so will join the long line of Western institutions that have arrived at epiphanies that we for decades have known and recognized as common truths. That Zionism is irredeemable, that Zionism is indefensible, that is an ideology based and built on ethnic supremacy, on killing, on brutalization, on land theft, and there is no debating that. Thank you. Thank you. Now, I have to be honest, I was eager to do this event, to say this very message, merely because I get to wear a suit. But, you know, I think discourse and narrative wars are all fine and good. They're great. But in addition to that, we need to be asking ourselves, what kind of political organizing are we engaged in? What kind of material action are we taking? What kind of direct action are we taking? There is a lot of work to do. Now is not the time to debate. It is time to end genocide. I don't need the ICJ or the ICC, who have confirmed that this is genocide. I don't need them to confirm this. And I don't need Amnesty International Human Rights to tell me that it's apartheid. What I need is for you to shut up. What we need is direct action. What we need is material action, and what we need is to challenge the complicity of our own institutions. This very institution is complicit in the occupation of Palestinians. Now, You know, in the past few, like in the last 2 days, I was informed that a new speaker was added to the opposition, if you can call them that. And I refuse, you know, I think it dishonors me to share a space with someone who, for decades, collaborated with the Israeli intelligence agencies that have killed Palestinians, besieged them, that have given people, that have given people's information and addresses, and have so much blood on their hands. So, shame, absolutely shame. Thank you. And on that note, I want to say, Zionism is indefensible, and we will defeat it within our lifetime. And on that note, I'm out. Thank you.